Yo, how's it going, everybody? International Master Danny Wrench here, back with another installment for Chess.com's YouTube channel. In deciding which direction to go next, as we are running out of mainline tournament weapons to give to you all in this awesome playlist we have, I decided to cover the English opening, which is one of the longest standing, most positionally sound openings, not the most popular weapon when compared to 1e4 or 1d4, but 1c4, which is officially the English move order, does have its merits. One of the main advantages behind the English is that white has a couple different options to reach setups that black can't really prevent, meaning when you play e4, you're sort of putting the ball in black's court. Does he want e5? Does he want the Pirts? Does he want the Caro? Does he want the Sicilian? Does he want the Alekhines, right? So black sort of has the option to choose his line of defense, whereas when you're playing the English, black certainly has his options in terms of his approach, and we're going to try to cover the three main ones very quickly. But white has the opportunity to develop into structures and into positions that really do not depend on what approach black is choosing. What exactly am I referring to? Well, let's say black plays c5, which is a symmetrical English, just repeating white's move on c4. The next few moves white has the option of playing, mainly heading into positions such as the Botvinnik English, really have no bearing on the moves black is choosing. After knight to c3, which increases the control over d5, black has several options to show you. Knight c6, g6, knight f6. But on any one of these, if white chooses to play g3, bishop g2, and then complete his development by increasing his grip on the center, putting the knight on e2, castling, and completing the Botvinnik English with d3, you're looking at a position that is very solid. White has the potential for space on both sides of the board. Whenever you look at pawn chains, those usually tell you which direction to attack in. And so one advantage of the Botvinnik is that it's sort of controlling both sides of the board. White has options to expand and gain space on both sides of the board. You see that this is a very solid choice for white. Again, let's say we play c4 and black plays e5. If white wants to play knight c3 and g3 and complete his development in a very similar manner, he has the option to do so, and it really doesn't depend on what black is doing. Bishop to b4 is one move here that does put a little more pressure on white to deal with the threat, but white has good variations after the move knight to d5. Also, what should be considered is that the move d5 is possible, transposing into an open Sicilian reversed, and oftentimes white is going to be pretty comfortable in this type of position. As I said, it's an open Sicilian reverse, which means if it's playable for black, I guess you could say it's playable for white up at one tempo, up a significant move, right? So the advantage of the English, other than the basic, most fundamental things behind it, that it controls critical squares in the center, like a Sicilian would, and leaves the center pawns flexible to do different things, is that if white chooses lines like the Botvinnik English, he has the option to reach a structure or a totally playable position that has no bearing, and it can't really be affected by the weapons that black is choosing. The one real exception to that, from black's perspective, is if black chooses the idea of transposing into queen's pawn games, whether that be by e6 and d5, or whether that might even be by c6 and d5, going into a Slav, or potentially after e4, transposing into a Caro-Kann. If black chooses to play for a challenging move such as d5 in the center early on, then white will not be able to just shut down his critical thinking skills and develop into a Botvinnik English structure just automatically. He'll have to do something about black's decision to play for d5. And that's one of the reasons why, for more experienced instructors or coaches like myself, I don't like when my younger students start playing chess with the move c4 because of black's options to transpose into both e4, whether it be the Caro-Kann, or d4 openings. It makes it difficult to try to have a young player playing an opening like the English when they don't even know the Caro-Kann or the Queen's Gambit. You see, you're sort of opening the door for them to be tricked and transposed into other mainline weapons. But if you're an experienced tournament player out there, or if you feel like you're willing to take the risk that your opponent may not transpose, and you're attracted to the idea that once again, I'll do something different, that black can play different things, but we can reach a similar structure every time if we choose. Again, seeing another move order for black, but seeing that it has no bearing on white's ability to get the Botvinnik structure, then you might like this idea of adding the English opening to your repertoire. There are other ways, of course, other than the Botvinnik English to play. Similar lines with g3, but rather than e4, perhaps e3 and knight g to e2, as well as developing the knight to f3. But as this video is designed as an intro into the basic advantages of playing the English, we'll leave it at that for now. And if you're interested, there's actually a video series going on the main site right now by Grandmaster Roman Djindjiashvili on the English and black's different options against it. And if that's something that interests you, then we hope to see you around on the main site. Thanks for being here. I will see you around on Chess.com.